Yo, what's going on, guys? So yesterday, Bloomberg went crazy. They dropped a huge report on iOS 13, and actually in that exact same report, they gave us pretty much a comprehensive overview of the 6th generation version of watchOS as well. So we now know, in addition to iOS 13 and macOS 10.15, what to expect in watchOS 6. Now, I don't cover watchOS a lot, but I personally found a lot of these rumors to be pretty exciting. Definitely worth sharing. So if you guys are excited to hear about all of them in this video, drop a like down below. It always helps me out. And of course, hit subscribe so you stay up to date on the latest Apple news. Let's go ahead and get started. So I'm actually really optimistic for the future of watchOS. I don't usually get super into watch updates nearly as much as I get into iOS or even macOS updates, but this year I think is going to be the exception because it is seriously going to be, I think, the iOS 7 upgrade already for the Apple Watch. I'm not talking about like a completely revamped interface, but like that big update that has been years in the making. The very first change we know about watchOS 6, according to Bloomberg's latest report, is that it is going to feature an app store independent of the iPhone. So obviously, Apple is going that direction with the Apple Watch. At first, you were directly tethered from your watch to your phone. Then we got GPS. Then we got GPS plus cellular. And now we're going to be able to download apps without even needing an iPhone. I'm actually really excited for this because there's been a number of times when app syncing has sort of been weird. And I just want to be able to go on the App Store on my watch, download an app, and move on with my day. And I think this will hopefully, if my calculations are correct here, get developers excited again if users have a direct way to interact with the App Store. Next up, also to sort of bring the Apple Watch up to speed here, we're gaining a slew of new apps. So first up is voice memos. Voice memos is something that, I don't know, as I've started playing guitar, I definitely use a lot more than I thought. You think of a song or like, I don't know, some tune you can just start playing, or even just like, hey, I have this thought that I don't want to like text to speech. I just want to hear myself read it back, and you can do that. And obviously this has really good microphones on it. Why not be able to use them natively? Now, next up, when I first read this, I was like, no one is going to actually use the Apple Books app on their watch and read on this little screen. No one's going to do that because it'd be a horrible experience. Turns out Apple is just bringing the audiobooks department from the Apple Books experience and store to the Apple Watch. And that is something that does make sense logically. If you are big into audiobooks, you'll be able to do that straight from your wrist with watchOS 6 and no longer need your iPhone. Third and fourth, we are continuing on with Apple's health push here, and there are going to be two new apps. So one is called Dose, the other one is called Cycle. So Dose is going to be an app on your Apple Watch that will remind you when to take pills. So welcome to the 60 plus club, everybody. Obviously, I'm being facetious. I know people below 60 are taking medicine, and that could be really handy. I do know one of the biggest problems in medicine is being a doctor, prescribing something that could change somebody's life, and then them either choosing to not take it or just legitimately forgetting it to do so. So now your Apple Watch is going to be your companion. Hey, you should take your pills because that's good for you. The fourth app here is called Cycles, and if you are male, you really won't have any use for this. It's to track menstrual cycles. So if you are female and you've been looking forward to doing that via your Apple Watch, you can now probably log and keep track of things on your wrist, independent again of your iPhone. You're probably noticing a trend here. My arms are going crazy, and I know you guys always comment about that. But in all seriousness, the trend here is that year after year, Apple wants to make the Apple Watch more independent, and that's exactly what they're doing. I mentioned that at the beginning of the video, but as you can see now, everything is centered around, you could do this with your iPhone before, but now you can do it just with the watch. And I almost forgot to mention, this is probably going to be the handiest of them all, at least from my perspective, is a calculator app. So you've been able to do this through a third-party apps for a long time now. I know CalcBot did it. I think pCalc as well had a watch companion app. But now native from Apple, you're gonna have the same calculator app that you have on your iPhone, but scrunched down and a little bit tinier. And maybe you can do some cool text-to-speech calculations. That's speculation though. We don't know, but I'm excited to do some complex computation on my wrist. So those are all the new apps coming. Inside of Messages, there's going to be a great new feature that I roasted Apple for adding and someone leaking with iOS 13, but there's going to be a way I should say, to send Animoji and Memoji stickers on the Apple Watch. So I assume there's going to be a special little tab or button inside the Messages app now where you can specifically send a funny face of a bear or something. Let me be clear, that has zero practical application and it's going to be a goofy feature. I still am not convinced that people really use Animoji and Memoji. I mean, I've messed around with it a little bit. It is fun from time to time, but it's a very time and place thing. You can be very annoying with Animoji. Now, complication-wise with watchOS 6, there are some additions there as well. We're going to show you the battery level of here hearing aids. It could show you some information about the rain. You'll also be able to see the status of audiobooks you're progressing through. I guess that's useful. And the last complication is one we talked about for iOS 13, but external noise. So I don't know if this is going to be like a live meter saying, hey, you're at a concert right now. People are banging on drums and being loud. This is bad. Like, yeah, the music's good, but this is going to kill your ears. Or if it's just going to be like, hey, outside it's loud here because of construction. I don't really know how it's going to work, but it has the potential to be cool and change people's lives, which is all we need. And then finally, we have some new watch faces coming. One is going to be called the gradient, where you can adjust the color and pick a gradient like yellow to darker yellow or blue, light blue to dark blue, or some other stuff of your choice. There's going to be extra large that show jumbo numbers in different fonts and colors. California, which is going to be a classic watch face mixed with Roman and Arabic numerals. Then a redesigned solar analog watch face that looks like a sundial. That one sounds the coolest of all of these so far. And then finally, infograph subdial that will have larger complication views like a stock market chart or the weather. watchOS 6 alongside iOS 13 Beta 1, macOS 10.15, and a new version of tvOS as well. It's all coming out on June 3rd around probably 1 or 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on June 3rd. That is when Apple's Worldwide Developers Conference kicks off, when we get all this stuff that I've been reporting on for the past year. And I have to say, it's always super satisfying to see it materialize and like use it on my iPhone. It's one thing to talk about like, oh, hey, I have this thing on my watch, like it could be cool. And then to look down and see, oh, I've got this new app now to tell me when to take my pills. Anyway, guys, as of right now, that's watchOS 6. And I want to hear all your thoughts about it down below per usual. Is this exciting? To me, it's not as feature heavy or intense as iOS 13 because I don't think any piece of firmware in history can match what we're expecting for iOS 13 at this point. As always, hit like if you enjoyed the video, hit subscribe for more, and I'll catch you all in my next video.